and he looked me in the eye, and he grabbed me, and he started crying, sobbing, and he said, I met the devil. And I said, what do you mean you met the devil? He said, I saw you working on me. I never prayed. And he could feel, he went straight down into hell. And he said he looked in the eyes of the devil.
Man, what's good with the collective? Y'all know we back with another banger, another reaction. I appreciate everybody who been tapping in, running up, and 7-up. If you new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell so you always notified whenever we drop them uploads. Y'all know we coming with about 4 videos every smooth 7. And this is for entertainment purposes as well. And when you like and comment and subscribe to the channel, helps collective grow, helps collective get bigger, helps more people who like this type of content tap in with this content. But I appreciate y'all collective. Shout out to y'all again. If you're watching on your TV, whatever the case is, I wish it was smooth 7. Might be a trigger warning or 2. I hope not. But today, before we get going, I wanted to give a shout out to the Harrison family. Shout out to y'all from the 505 to the 916, bro. Shout out to your city. Shout out to you and your family. Appreciate you. Also, I did want to go ahead and say, and I haven't said this in a long time, if I have offended you, insulted you, disrespected you, anything of that nature, I apologize. It's never my intentions. Because I see some of the comments, and it's almost like as if I might have did that on accident, by mistake, and don't even realize, and people hold on to that. And then when I say the smallest thing, do the smallest thing, or they feel like it's the right timing, they want to take a jab. And it's like, bro, did I insult you, disrespect you, or anything prior to this like interaction or that comment? Because it's like, bro, it's almost like sometimes people sit back and just wait, and they wait, and they're not here to support. They're not here to, because they like the content. They here to lurk and take a jab. But I'm the wrong one to do that shit with, because I'll match all that energy. Right now, I'm not trying to match that energy. So I'm asking y'all, like, to anybody, again, have I? And if so, I apologize. I hope y'all forgive me. But y'all already know what it is, man. Let's get straight to the video, man. Let's go.
She lost her son, gave birth to a daughter, and all within months. In February 2007, Anna Nicole Smith was found unresponsive in a Florida hotel room. Her death came just 5 months after her 20-year-old son died suddenly in the hospital room where she had just given birth to her daughter. The official cause of her death was ruled as an accidental combination of prescription medications, but the public quickly questioned the full story. Anna was in the middle of a custody battle over her newborn, and multiple people were fighting over her late husband's fortune. Her final days were chaotic. She appeared in public looking disoriented, and people close to her gave conflicting accounts of her mental and physical state. The timing, the legal battles, and the eerily similar circumstances of her son's death left many wondering if there was more behind the scenes. Was Anna Nicole Smith's death just another Hollywood tragedy, or was something hidden beneath the headlines? Follow along for more.
Why don't we just say a bunch of things that we know that they'll never cover? Okay, ready, go. Trump Jr. didn't have any silverware in his house. No one thought that was weird? Are we still rolling? Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia put money into Disney, so just know there won't be any girl characters in the next Cars movie. Are we still rolling? This is wild. Why have so many presidents chefs? Weird. Boy Scout of America, they renamed itself Scouting America. You know who else changed their name? Sean Combs. Just saying. Let's learn something in 2025. I can't believe you guys are still letting me go. This is amazing. I love CNN. Please stop me, Andy, because I will just keep going.
Happy New Year, Whitney Cummings.
Am I still streaming?
Yes.
This is amazing.
Damn. What's y'all thoughts, man?
You ever hear about the suburbs theory?
Suburbs.
Suburbs, literally neighborhoods and suburbs were created to control us.
What?
Now check this out.
Yeah.
The theory goes that when you have a bunch of people living on farms in lands where they can do whatever the fuck they want, they can design it the way they want, they can raise whatever they want on there, put anything they want on their land, it's harder for you to control them and tell them what to do because they're so naturally resourced. Like they have everything on their own. They have their groceries to themselves. They grow their own food, have water. They're surviving without the necessary needs of a higher power, like the elite government, whatever. But if you take people and you stuff them into these capsules, what would happen? They would start comparing each other to each other. They would start living kind of similar lives, right? They would probably get similar houses, similar cars, similar jobs, and they would look at each other and stay within that breach of what life could be. Now, what's crazy is SpongeBob tried exposing the truth with it.
Oh, like their own suburb?
So
I got a rabbit hole for you to dive into. And if you don't feel like diving into it, I do have a video that's posted, it's already uploaded, where you can watch the full story. But back in 2005, 2006, maybe 2007, YouTube was not the same. People used to talk about the weird side of YouTube. All of YouTube was weird back then. There were no guidelines. People were posting the craziest stuff. There was a Russian guy who was fertilizing chicken eggs with his own swimmers. He was trying to recreate life, and he was successful. People were able to watch 3 babies be made. They don't look like babies that we would expect them to look like. This guy was always really frantic, and he never showed his face, but we could recognize his hands. He was always posting in different rooms like he was on the run. People were saying that he was actually being looked for by Russian authorities for crimes against humanity. He was wanted by world authority figures for breaking like universal laws. Supposedly there is a world peace treaty, or like a world treaty that prevents people from interbreeding species. It's called. I have the full video, I already posted it, or you can just dive down this creepy ass rabbit hole by yourself.
Hey, I forgot about that story. Do y'all remember that? If I'm not mistaken, I think we showed him injecting something into a chicken egg. Is that the same video? Let me know. If so, that shit was crazy. But they say he never was successful in that video, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me. It's been a long time since we went over a clip like that, but let me know if y'all, let me know y'all thoughts about that. I never heard of that word. I don't know if it's suitable for YouTube's guidelines because you rarely hear that, but I'm not gonna repeat it. I will block it out just in case, because I don't want to have that shit come back on me later. But yeah, let me know y'all thoughts.
How and why is this a thing? The CIA released a brain code that cures pain. All you have to do is repeat the number in your mind, 55515, and it will work. And since this document has been released, so many people have come forward and say that this actually does work. Now, obviously, like, it doesn't cure, like, extreme pain. But, like, for example, my cat scratched me earlier today, and I was thinking it in my brain, and it worked. It also released to remember, if you're trying to, like, remember a part of your life experience, you can close your eyes and touch softly with the fingers of your right hand to the center of your forehead. And when you do this, you will recall and remember immediately what you were trying to remember. We also have a code for reducing emotional charge. Close your eyes, inhale deeply, hold your breath for a moment, and then think of the calming, cleansing color green. When you do this, exhale slowly, and the green energy will push all the excess harmful emotional charges down through your physical system and out through the soles of your feet. This daily tools document is really interesting. I really recommend taking a look at it. It's one of the more interesting documents that I feel like everybody can appreciate. It's not just like boring government stuff. Come over here for longer freaky videos.
Right here, this, whatever this is, this right here, we think it's air. But I realized that if I stop, close my nose and mouth for 4 minutes, if I'm separated from this substance for 4 minutes, my heart don't stop. My brain don't even stop. My body functions don't stop. The first thing I lose is consciousness. I pass out. I can no longer stay aware. So I started to say, well, wait a minute. I'm not just breathing in air. I'm breathing in consciousness. I'm inhaling and exhaling God itself. And this air is conscious.
So let me get this straight. The Southern Ocean current has completely reversed. There's a mass extinction event happening on the southern coast of Australia. We're having catastrophic flooding here in the United States, and Mexico is sending us rescuers while we're sending our National Guard and Marines to go round up people in LA. And we're just acting like everything is.
They do it to me all the time. They try and raise my heartbeat up, try and give me a heart attack all the time, and they try and do black magic on me all the time. It's funny, really, because the cheap ones that try and do it. Think that they have these, but they do voodoo. They make voodoo dolls too, and they try and pull pins from voodoo dolls, and they're so they're so low down. They're so low down. They think that they're like a lot more powerful than they are. And if somebody tries to do black magic on me, I get images in my head with it hours beforehand. So I'm shown that it's going to happen. So I immediately defend. I mirror it. I mirror it back to them. I could 7 times it, but I don't do that because that then carries consequences in karma. And I don't need any more of that. Like a voodoo doll?
Yes.
Yeah. I saw somebody built one the other day to do to me.
Okay. How do
I saw them build it.
Damn, Max Spears, man, rest in peace.
Dark truth that will shock you for life.
This is the most dangerous book in the world, and it's not just a legend. In the 8th century, a book was written that would become the most feared text in history. Its name, Al-Azif, the book was said to contain secrets of black magic so ancient. They predated humanity itself. It spoke of a jinn, a powerful otherworldly being trapped in our world. But Al-Azif wasn't just a collection of myths. It contained detailed instructions on how to communicate with these beings. Many tried to destroy the book, but it always resurfaced as if it had a will of its own. In the 19th century, a Yemeni poet named Hassan al-Mansur claimed to have found a copy of Al-Azif. He spent months studying its pages, learning its secrets. One night, Hassan performed a ritual described in the book. Witnesses said they heard whispers in a language no one could understand. The next morning, Hassan was gone. All that remained was his journal. Filled with frantic scribbles, the last entry read, "I've seen the jinn, it showed me the truth. The book isn't just a guide. It's a prison and now I'm trapped too."
Who has read that book? And is this factual?
So that conspiracy theory where people are human organs has now gotten a little deeper. So this 21-year-old former flight attendant was arrested for $3.3 million worth of a psychoactive containing ground human bones. Ground human bones. Let me repeat. This former 21-year-old flight attendant was arrested for $3.3 million worth of a drug containing ground human remains. She was arrested at the airport with this drug called Kush. Over 100 pounds of this drug that's only found on the black market. Take a look at this. This is the article about the stuff that she was caught with and was arrested for. Now, it's totally unclear who is purchasing this stuff. I guess maybe it's people that are tired of the stuff that they've been using, and they want something a little bit different. But this contains human bones. Now, if you go back and check out some of my videos and all the stories that have been coming out of people arrested for selling human bones, it's got to make you think, where are they going? Maybe we know now. Well, she is facing up to 25 years to life. Now, here's the question on my mind, and the question I want to ask you. How long do you think she's going to survive once they found out what she was caught for and the people that she was transporting it for? How crazy is this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
You know what movie remind me of? The movie Lucy. Did y'all get that same? I don't know. That's what I got. I know the storylines didn't match at all, mainly towards the end, but it was just that's the first thing I thought of. This shit's real though, I feel like. But then also I feel like is this a fake ass story that they just trying to give to us? Y'all know how they do. Or is it really real? I don't know. I gotta look a little deeper. But let me know if y'all have looked a little deeper.
I have the wildest theory. Hear me out. I haven't seen anyone talking about this, but it's giving damage control vibes. You know how somebody could post a video, could be about UFOs, Big Pharma, or secret cure to XYZ? And the comments are mostly positive. People are like, whoa, that makes sense. But then suddenly, one or two accounts pop in and say, that's not true. Or they'll drop a vague comment that shifts the energy just enough to snap people back into the matrix. Or worse, they say something that distracts everyone, stirs up negativity, and derails the whole vibe. Now here's the weird part. When you go to those accounts, there's no real profile picture, or it's something random, or there's no post, or it's a bunch of unrelated nonsense. You know what I mean? What if those aren't real people, but bots? Like actual programs made for damage control. Think about it. They show up everywhere, but how would bots know when to jump in? Okay, simple. Social mention tracking. There's software like Google Alerts, but way more advanced, that monitors keywords across the web. Now imagine combining that with a large language model, or something that could scan social media for specific phrases and auto-generate short replies based on surrounding conversation. And AI can already identify objects and videos and images, so yeah, it's doable. Anyway, I might be reaching, or maybe not. What do you think? Drop it in the comment.
I'm just sharing this with you, and like I said, this is something that is an intern that really changed my life. I had a patient got stabbed in the heart. When I walked in the ER because I was on the ER, but the surgeon had his chest cracked open, and he had his finger in the guy's heart. And they pronounced him dead. He was a young man, maybe 22, 23 years old. Drug deal that went bad. He died, and the surgeon was a Christian, Dr. Forster to be exact, said, we're not going to let him go without a fight. So he took him to the OR, took him to surgery, pumped him full of blood, got a pulse, tied the hole in his heart up with a suture, and since I was on the surgery unit, I had to wait until he woke up. After about 4 hours, the guy woke up, and he looked me in the eye, and he grabbed me, and he started crying, sobbing, and he said, I met the devil. And I said, what do you mean you met the devil? He said, I saw you working on me, I was dead, I never prayed, and he could feel he went straight down into hell. And he said he looked in the eyes of the devil, and he prayed. He said he never prayed before, it was never spiritual, and he said, please God, I'll change my life. And he felt an angel or a hand pull him back up, and that's when he awoke. And it was the most amazing experience because he was legit. I mean, no one makes up something like that. And last I heard, he's completely changed his life. He gave his life to God. And I still, to this day, the look in his eye when he woke up, the terror, I'm absolutely convinced that he did meet the devil. And once again, I've not followed up on where he's at now, but I heard he's doing really good. And if I can get that information, I'll get it for you.
Okay. What was your reaction when the doctor told you that they were going to sew him back up? And
I thought he was crazy because the guy bled out. He was dead. There was blood on the ceiling because he got stabbed in the heart, blood all around him. He had no pulse. He was lifeless. And the Christian doctor said, Dr. Forster, we're going to take him and we're going to try to revive him. And it was actually miraculous because the guy was dead. He completely bled out. And you don't open someone's chest in the ER, stick your finger in a hole. That's a last-ditch effort. And I thought he was crazy, but now in retrospect, it happened for a reason. And that basically changed my whole outlook on medicine. And that was when I was a young intern back in 1989.
Wow.
It was this amazing spiritual experience, and the guy was legit, and once again, no one goes through something like that and makes that up, especially that's the first thing he said when he woke up. And by looking at the terror in his eyes, he did meet the devil. I am convinced of that.
Amen.
Yep. Okay. And I want to write more stuff for you, and I want to get together with you. I do.
Okay.
Amazing. And if I can ever get the records for this guy, I'd like to be able to do a book and have documentation would be the right way to do it.
Right.
What if the doctor that stitched him up got that message from God?
Man, get in here. Man, get in here. So Harvard got a secret that I'm about to expose. Now, you know how they always told us our ancestors was enslaved by the 5 civilized tribes? Wait till you get a load of this. Now, go ahead and take a screenshot of this court case. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this court case. And this Harvard Institute Freeman, I think it's Federation, I kind of can't see it, versus the Department of Interior, right? This Blew my mind. But if you want to find all the 24 pages, you go to court case right here, right? And I think it's 29 documents. But they wanted a case for dismissal, Department of Interior, and let me show you what they brung up in this case. So you can go and take a screenshot. But basically, they saying that we was enslaved by them and we were forced to serve as hunters, nurses, and cooks throughout the brutal winter, right? And they said we even served as the Supreme Court Justice and national government and act as translators for tribal leaders negotiating with the United States official. So we was their caretaker. Not that we was enslaved. They was our kids, bro. They was our kids. Without us, they would have starved, bro. They didn't know how to... What? It's getting sticky. It's getting sticky. So you mean to tell me during the so-called Trail of Tears to Oklahoma, we was your granddaddy? We was your caretakers? We was the peoples in the court fighting for you? And you turned around and bargained with the government? Because it wasn't no finances taken care of. We was your doctors. We was your government. We was your translators. We was everything, including fed you. No government wasn't giving you no handouts. We helped you. And you owed us still until this day. That's what it was. That's the secret. Man, this is crazy. Part 2 coming. Part 2 coming. But if you'd like to donate $1, I greatly appreciate it. But let's continue.
Damn, I want to hear more about that one. Y'all said that one.
Well, TikTok family, we can kiss this beautiful algorithm goodbye. TikTok is releasing a United States only app, and you know what that means. And they're saying the reason they're releasing this United States version is to help them sell the app. So basically, 9 times out of 10, this means that they're remixing this app to sell it to somebody else. And most likely, 9 times out of 10, this will be 100% a different app once it gets sold. So basically, in September, when they release this app, the app that we're on right now is done though. Now, I don't know 100% how this is going to go, but from the little that I know, I'm guessing you'll be able to utilize the app that we're on right now until they say it's over. And then you definitely have to switch to that United States TikTok. And this might make you mad right now because this is going to tell it all. ByteDance will definitely be separating this algorithm from the next. So you heard what I said when we first started this video, right? You can kiss this algorithm goodbye. They're making a new algorithm, and that algorithm is going to be 100% different from this algorithm. And they're saying they're doing that to make sure that our data security is good. So the Chinese app that we're on right now will be 100% different from the United States app that they're making September 5th. I don't know if I want to say rest in peace. I don't know, but I know this much. They're putting this together this way to get people to invest in this app, to get people to buy this app. What do you think? What do you think will happen with TikTok now that the United States has its hands on it?
For me, I'm gonna just go ahead and say I think that they could give 2 F's about your data. They don't care about that, bro. If they was worried about security of that, 23andMe would not even have been able to. Y'all remember that clip with the 23andMe? How they playing games with our data? Come on, bro. You worried about an app, but you not worried about our actual DNA? Come on, make this shit make sense here. And that's only because I've seen comments come in. I don't know if they were real or not, bots or not. But back when TikTok was going to be banned the first time, people were saying, oh, well, it's not about this. It's not about that. It's about our data. That's why. It's about this. Well, answer the 23andMe. They got DNA data. This is just your personal information. Which one worse? Your personal information or is it your DNA? Personal information, yeah, they can fraud you, but that's money. That's material. We talking about DNA, bro. That's cloning.
Ooh.
they really starting to show their hand now. Now they are saying the dams are failing in Texas. I just dropped a video last week on this very subject that they lifted the floodgates. Now ain't that suspicious that the dams are failing in this so-called flood when we haven't got enough rain? Okay, ain't that suspicious? Y'all don't see all these dams in Texas? Ain't that suspicious? Right where Kerrville? Boom. Ain't that suspicious? They're right in the heart of it where the flooding going on. Make it make sense, bro. They planning on faces again. See? Y'all laugh when we talk about HARP and geoengineering, but look at it now. The lies are stacking. If it don't rain, but it floods, what's happening? Huh? What's happening? Can somebody explain this? Infrastructure sabotage.
Make you uncomfortable is an art of war.
Breaking news, we have more insane, unfathomable, never before seen, at least in most generations. No one walking today has seen the river rise 33 feet in a couple hours. And by the way, 33 feet, mainstream news articles are saying that as well. It's exactly 33 feet, a little bit suspect, but it is raising a lot. I'm sure, I'm not denying that, but it's just the 33 thing. Now, this is happening after they already got flooded out, and there's more storms blowing over tonight, flood watches all across the state. But people have a lot of questions as to the cause of the floods, and I know that may sound foolish, but I can tell you there's a whole other side to this story. Texans deserve to know. Germans, with their hail that they're getting, they deserve to know. North Carolinians need to know. Connecticut flooding, they deserve to know. We all deserve to know what the Sam Dam is going on here.
Has been struck. TikTok will no longer be on our phones from September of this year through March of 2026. They're going to be replacing it with a new version of the American TikTok app, and it's going to be called M. M is short for Meta. Oracle and a few other billionaires will be the new owners of TikTok. Here are the two things that is going to be coming along with that. You will no longer be able to see what's going on in the rest of the world because it destroys the government's narrative. And the U.S. government will now have full access to all of your data on TikTok, which is, if it's 130 million of us users here in the United States, that's a $3 billion a year sale of your data. That's what it's all about. Controlling the narrative for world views and your data. Don't get it twisted. It has nothing to do with national security. It has nothing to do with anything more than controlling the money and controlling the narrative.
Talk that shit, man.
PSA religion was used to control you and not to actually free you, and Jesus was actually trying to tell you that he discovered his own divinity, and he also knew that that same divinity lived inside of you because you were actually a walking, breathing piece of the universe, and that all you needed to do was wake up like he did and recognize and see yourself clearly. But there were these men, and these men were like, oh my God, if these people understand how powerful they are, our plan will absolutely go to shit. So they took Jesus' message and they twisted it and they made it into fear, and they made up these rules, and they told you that you were broken, and they said, hand us your money, and they said, if you don't follow us, you'll burn forever. Follow us. But none of that was actually Jesus's teaching. Just here to remind you, wakey wakey babe, rise and shine. It's time you remember. I love you.
Do any of y'all remember the new Planet of the Apes? Remember when Caesar is no longer with us? And the apes was switching up his teachings, and then everybody, all the apes was thinking that they were living by Caesar's way of living, but they really wasn't. Now, I'm not saying that's true. I'm just asking. We got a question. What if that movie was letting us know that humans ain't living right now? What if that movie was was symbolism for something? I'm just asking. Because I thought about it after I seen that clip. Let me know.
I just tell you, all 4 phones in our house just went off at the same time with the emergency alert system, statewide, PA, Pennsylvania 911 outage. Okay? It's also Bike Week in Gettysburg, which we know that the 911 system is essential to have up and running. Not to mention, we have a visitor this week in Gettysburg. Made a video about her before. She was coming, and she's here. Yeah, Annabelle. Yeah, Annabelle's here. Annabelle's here in Gettysburg during Bike Week. And now we have a 911 statewide outage. What the hell's happening? What the hell is happening? Come on. This isn't good.
You're not gonna believe this. The Annabelle doll was moved to Pennsylvania. But shortly after the Annabelle doll was in Pennsylvania, literally all the 911 systems went down. This was not a coincidence that shortly after she arrived in Pennsylvania, all the 911 systems went down. There has been comments from actual people saying about their systems were actually down. This is actually true. This is not cap, 100%. The fact that they let this doll out into the world and everything that's happening and all the signs, and they're choosing to ignore it, like Ed and Lorraine Warren specifically said. With everything that went on in Texas with the flooding and everything, I truly believe it is connected. And I know that sounds crazy, but you cannot believe in coincidences. This literally happened hours after she arrived in Pennsylvania. Every system across Pennsylvania was completely down. You could not contact them if you wanted to. Let me know in the comments down below if you were in Pennsylvania. Please let me know if your system was down in that time span as of today and yesterday. I am just curious to know.
Do y'all believe that, or do y'all think it was just something else?
Every city Annabelle go to, something weird happens. The first tour with Annabelle started at 11 o'clock a.m. in Gettysburg. By the time 3:24 p.m. came, everyone in PA got an alert saying we have a nationwide 911 outage for PA. Now the outage is currently still going on, but who's seen the video of some guy? It was posted either last week or the beginning of this week, and he was saying how it was going to be a 911 outage, and after the outage, something sinister was going to happen. I looked at my saved videos. I cannot find it. I don't know who the username was because I saved it. I was going to go back and watch it later on. Now I cannot find the video. I know I cannot be the only one that's seen it. Do anyone have it saved or downloaded to their phone? Because maybe this guy was onto something, or maybe this app took it down. I don't know, but I know I seen.
In America, if you have not realized, the FBI, CIA, ATF, all those agencies, right, which are privately funded and not governmental bodies, but I'm not here for. With the new news of Pam Bondi, with Epstein, with all the Cash Patel even going on, Joe Rogan, and saying that they've had all these hidden files of evidence that they're doing a internal investigation on to let it out, which they'll never do. Units to stop information from the protection of the world elites. They're not created to, find criminals or domestic terrorists or anything like that. And if you are a person who speaks against certain agendas, you'll be labeled a domestic terrorist. Those agencies will be come onto you. Like, for instance, the jab, 2020, the origins of that plague, pandemic, whatever you want to label it. Have y'all realized that the FBI, CIA, all those agencies are protections of the elite and not to go after criminals? That's my theory. That's my theory.
Tower of Progress. Look at the size of those people. This was supposed to be in Chicago, the old world city, before they deconstructed it with great bombings, not fires. Look at the size of the people. Those are people. And that's at the base of it, down here. This is like the Atlantean age type buildings that were around the earth. That's no ordinary obelisk.
Somebody gonna say that shit didn't even exist. I know it's coming. I see, man, when I tell you I see some wild ass comments sometimes, I be like, damn, this can't be human. This can't be, bro. It can't be this way. It can't be. But which I think that was real. And I think that was fake. I don't know. I think structures like that did once be here on Earth. And again, I think they knocked it all down because they knew they wasn't going to be able to create that. They wanted to make history fit their narrative. They wasn't that smart to create certain shit. They wasn't. They was taught how to do certain shit. So it's like, yeah, to me, I don't know, man. These green people, 1%, royal families, this for entertainment purposes. So none of what I'm about to say is true, but any of them people who controlled all this shit to fit their narrative so that they can write their history, I don't like it, bro. I don't like it, man. And I don't get how they're able to get away with this shit for so long, man. It's crazy work.
You want more lore about the faceless people in California, so let's do another story. This comes from Moreno Valley, which is about an hour and 40 minutes southwest of where the first story took place in Barstow. This story was sent by a person named Eli, who says back in 2010 he saw a faceless woman walking down the road toward his car at about 3 in the morning. He was driving down a dark, long stretch of road when he saw a figure walking toward him in the middle of the road, so he stopped his car and he put the flashers on because this figure wasn't moving, and when she got closer he realized she was wearing a blue denim jacket, a red hoodie, and blue jeans, and she had no face. Now, one thing I want to point out is everyone was asking, like, what do you mean no face? All of these descriptions in these stories that I've gotten about faceless people describe them the same way, which is, it's not that they have no face in the sense that there's like nothing or like a vortex or just empty space. It's glossed over skin where their features should be. Of course, Eli thinks he's seeing things, so as she gets closer, she stops, she puts her hands in her pockets, and she's just staring, or what should be staring, straight ahead toward his car. He hit the gas, he sped around her, and as he passed her, he looked closer to make sure he wasn't just seeing things, but sure enough, she didn't have a face. He said the best way I can describe it is just very pale skin with a soft yellow-white glow. He said hearing the first story opened up a lot of memories for him, and he wanted to share his story because he thinks that the Air Force Base is involved. He's heard stories about it being haunted. Obviously not from the area, but if you know anything about this, let me know. And I'm actually considering making a map because, like I said in the first video, there have been so many stories that I've gotten about faceless people, and they're almost all in the same area, although this morning I did receive one from Northern California and another from Canada. But the sightings do seem concentrated to Central and Southern California, so let me know what you think of this. If you think you've seen faceless people, or if you know anything about them, let me know what you think, and at the very least, send me the location of where you think you saw them. I think I'm going to make a map.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Hey, Divide Explorers, I am at the Hoover Dam. I need to show you this. I need to show you what they did. So in 2015, they put a goat up there. FC Colon, German company. They put a goat all there. Nobody understood why they did it, but they kept the goat up for 7 days. So they kept the goat up for 7 days on the Hoover Dam. That's right, it's in the papers. I'll tell you what it is. The goat in the Bible, that's no good. That's the devil. All right, I'll see you in my next video.
When you guys see roads like this, as a driver, I know it annoys you, but as a...
Head northwest.
I'm a firm believer in teaching what's taught, and I just got taught something, so I'm about to teach you. This is going to be a blueprint to generational wealth. I hope you can sit down and listen to me for a couple of minutes. Right, so the first thing you want to do is open up a trust. When you hear trust, you think of rich people, trust fund babies for rich people, but you can open up a trust. This is a trust. A trust is basically like a treasure box. Remember when you did good in school, your teacher will allow you to go to the treasure box and get some snacks, right? So your trust is your treasure box. Your snacks is your assets. So life insurance is considered an asset. So you can open up a life insurance policy. You're probably paying $100 a month. Let's just say your death benefit is $100,000. The $100 a month is funding that life insurance policy. But since you already own a life insurance policy, you can, that's a part of your net worth. Your death benefit is a part of your net worth. So when you put that life insurance policy inside of the trust, now the trust is worth $100,000. Now let's say you have a business. Let's say it's a barbershop, and the barbershop was valuated at $100,000. You can also put that business in the trust. So now your trust is worth $200,000. And, you know, You had to start up the business, and that took some money, but the other $100,000 just came from a life insurance policy that you're probably paying like $150 per month. You know, you haven't even paid $100,000. But the thing about a trust is you can borrow against it. So if your trust is worth $200,000, you can go to the bank and say, look, this is what Elon Musk does. You think he got $400 billion in the bank. No, he just borrows against that. Say I have a trust worth $200,000. I need $150,000 so I can put on a down payment on a house. Now say you bought a house that's worth $1 million and you put $150,000 as a down payment. Now, you haven't paid off this house, you haven't paid off the life insurance either, but you can put that house in your trust. The house is worth $1 million. Like I just said, you can borrow against the trust. So now your trust is worth $1,050,000 because you left $50,000 in there because you only took $150 out. I hope you follow it. So now you have $1 million and $50,000 to play with. Now, remember, you also are in debt by $150,000. Now what you need to do is take out $50,000 from that $1,050,000. Now it's $1 million in the trust based off the valuation of your house. I know I'm saying a lot of information. You should be writing this stuff down. Take that $50,000, go buy you a business, bruh. Buy you a business that's already in profit, one that has a consistent revenue where you can make that $50,000 back within the next 5 years. Then put that business also in your trust, which is going to just raise the trust value even more. But the value of this business that you just bought is in order to pay back the $150,000 you're in debt. So once you complete all of that, you will have a $1 million trust, a $1 million house, a $100,000 business, a $100,000 life insurance policy, and you know, once you get that business, however much, if you buy a business for $50,000, it's probably worth, let's just say it's probably worth $75,000, or it might be, you might have got a bad deal. Maybe it's worth $45,000. You can also put that in there. Let's just say $45,000 on this business. But the thing about this business is bringing in profit every single month. So that's going to pay off that loan. But at the end of all of this, you sitting at $1 million house, $100,000 life insurance policy, $100,000 business, and a $45,000 business. So you sitting at $1.245 $1,245,000 in a trust. And all you had to do was build that business and start a life insurance policy. And then the thing about a trust is, it ain't going nowhere. If you go bankrupt, your trust is okay, and you can give it to your kids. And just repeat, rinse and repeat, generational wealth.
Dorothea was born on January 9th of 1929, and she was born in Redlands, California. At the age of 16, she had her first marriage, and that is when she had her 2 daughters, and eventually she had one of them go and live with her relatives in Sacramento, and the other daughter, she just put her up for adoption. In 1949, Dorothea was arrested for using forged checks in Riverside, California. In 1952, she had her second marriage, and she got married in San Francisco. And with this marriage, she had a completely different persona, so different name. And whenever her husband would go away for trips for his work, she would have men come to their house so she could gamble away her husband's money. In 1960, she got arrested once again for having a bookkeeping firm that was actually disguised as a brothel in Sacramento, California. In 1968, she had her third marriage, but then eventually they got separated 16 months later. Now, this is when Dorothea decides that she wants to run a boarding house in downtown Sacramento. Now, this was a great place for elderly people, people with a mental illness, disabled people, and even elderly people. As you can see in this photo, she looks like a very elderly woman. She has vintage clothing on, she has the gray hair, glasses, but she's only in her 50s. On November 11th of 1988, police departments show up at the boarding house after a social worker had reported a disabled man with schizophrenia missing. While the police department was at this house, they noticed that there was fresh soil on the ground, and that is when they discovered a human body. 7 bodies were eventually found buried on the property. Basically, what Dorothea would do, she would until they overdose, then she would wrap them up in bed sheets and just take them to the property outside just to bury them. And the reason she did this was just to collect their money and any social security money that they would get. Dorothea was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Throughout her time in jail, she still maintained her innocence, and she just stated that they died of natural causes. Dorothea in prison on March 27th of 2011 at age 82. If you are in the Sacramento area, this house is located on 1426 F Street, and you can actually take a tour of the house.
I'm not sure if you could take a tour in the house. No, I've never heard of that one, because I think people live there. But you can walk right by it. It's a gate up. You can walk right on the outside of it. Yeah, I have. I rode by it. My grandfather showed me that as a kid. Y'all let me know. When I was younger, he told me about the story, and yeah. If y'all ever out here, go check it out, man. Let me know how y'all feel about it. If they did let people in the house, I'm not going inside that muff. I'm not going, bro. I look up outside.
They shut down the police departments because they want us to purge. Coming to a city near you, but they started in Philly first.
What else do you think was here? Because this is not it. We're inside the arch. It's like a big magnet. I was theorizing that there was maybe water here once, and then I saw these things. I bet you water came out those. So these 4 things and 2 gazebos, when you're in the middle of the arch, they're like perfectly in front of you. Did you used to like moor your boat rope around this? Is this where you hooked your boat to? There's mermaids. Their tail also looks like a dragon tail. Now we're at Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn, and there's so many dragonflies flying around. Well, that's a bird. Dragonflies everywhere. That's not part of the sign, it's a real bird. Look at, so we're on top of this hill. And we're like way up. But there's weird stuff up here, and this thing is huge. A faithful with a giant phallus at the top. Thou doth protest too much. Look at this. This is a crazy tall one. Huh.
What's that symbol up there? Kind of just looks like a money sign with an extra slash.
I can't tell what she has, but the end of it looks like an ankh. And then there's that. Record, what does it say? I can't read right now. Something by his words. Erected. I was so off. By his widow. Here lies Kyle. Look what we found. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's another one. We're on the like peak of the hill. That doesn't seem like a natural hill. I think. What's that up there? Is that a castle? Whoa. And it's like a steep drop off. Are you knocking? They have stained glass windows.
Dude, this one is cool.
Wow.
Dude, this is
This is the coolest cemetery ever. Just don't fall to your death here. There's like mausoleums overgrown. You gotta be rich to have your graves taken care of. Spooky trail in an old cemetery on a sacred mound. This comes out of the hill, like you see the grass growing on top because it juts out of the hill. Oh my god, don't tell Corey that this one's open. So this mausoleum is built into the hill too, right? Look at all of these. These are little like sunlight holes. Look at, does this each go to a person?
This is so cool.
Rest in peace. You got sunlights on your grave at least. I meant to say skylight. Apparently this is Druid's Circle. Look at the wildflowers. That's good enough. Good enough. Holy crap. They did take the statue. Huh. It is all fake. It's all fake doors and and no statues. But there's stained glass in that window. Yay.
They're feral people, according to one woman named Sandra who emailed me for Spooky Scary Storytime, and she said this is also her theory on why so many people go missing in U.S. national parks, vanishing without a trace. She grew up in Wyoming, and when she was 21, her aunt gets her a job as a bartender at this dive bar in a small town. The place opened in the early 90s, but this is 2001 when Sandra starts working there, and her aunt had started as a bartender and knew all the regulars who would come in. It was the kind of place with an old jukebox, old pool table, but not a lot of action. Mostly the same guys who came in every day and drank the same thing. So she starts working there with her aunt, and she's getting to know all the regulars, and it's about what you'd expect of a dive bar. There's some people that are super obnoxious, some people that want to talk your head off, and other people that are just kind of quiet, come in every day, have the same thing. And one of these guys is really quiet. His name is Hank. You guys know I love that name. If you know, you know. But anyway, she describes Hank as basically like a retired cowboy. He had sun-leathered skin. He wore the same flannel every single day, regardless of the weather, and he didn't say much. He came in, he would drink one beer. He would sit there about 2 hours, didn't really talk to anybody, but some of the other guys that drank there knew him. Everybody there called him the tracker behind his back. Sandra's aunt said that he had been coming in since she started working there. Like the day the bar opened, this guy was coming in to have drinks. She said he's nice enough, always tips $2 on his beer. Nobody really knows anything about him, but they called him the tracker because some of the guys knew he used to work for the government, something in wildlife, although they didn't know exactly what. And he's kind of just this quiet background figure at the bar for 2 years until this one night she's closing the bar down and all that's in the bar is her, Hank, and then this other guy who's drunk and talking her head off. And somehow the topic of Bigfoot comes up. She said she doesn't remember exactly how, but this guy's going on and on about how he believes in Bigfoot. And Hank just looks up and he says, Bigfoot's not real, but there's something worse out there. Caught her off guard because he wasn't the type to pipe into other conversations. She had rarely heard him talk. So immediately she looks at him and he's not smiling. He doesn't look like he's kidding. And she's like, what do you mean? She said this is the only story he ever told her in the 7 years she worked there. He said years ago he was tracking a cougar deep in the Medicine Bow National Forest. It was just him, his dog, and his pew-pew. And don't yell at me for using stupid words. You guys know I have to do that. He said around dusk he noticed something was off because the whole forest suddenly went silent. There were no bird or insect sounds, and he thought that there was a predator in his area. He thought he was getting close to the cougar, but then he finds a deer. What he described to her was pretty graphic, so I'm going to glaze over it, but I will say that he said that he determined that it was not destroyed by a cougar, or any other wildlife for that matter. Parts of its hide had been peeled in a very rudimentary way, suggesting that someone had tried to skin it but didn't know exactly how. He got a bad feeling. He decided to head back to his truck, but his dog would not budge. His dog was staring off in the woods, and that's when he heard the whispering. He said they were voices, but they didn't sound right. They were almost mocking, and he could only make out one word, which sounded like a very robotic help. He felt very unsettled despite being a man of the wilderness for years and years. He leaves. The next day, he calls one of his old military buddies, and they go back to the same spot where he was tracking the cougar, and they find a bunch of rudimentary lean-tos, large shacks made of branches and trees and trash, ropes hanging from branches of trees, scraps of clothing, and a child's shoe. There was a campfire smoldering outside one of the shacks, suggesting that someone had been there shortly before they arrived, and then they heard the same voice that he had heard the day before, saying, "Help." He said it was in the same tone, that same robotic help, and if he didn't know any better, he would have thought it was being played through a recorder. He said they just got the hell out of there, but what scared him the most wasn't what he saw, it was what he didn't. He said it was the way he felt watched, and he knew that whatever was out there didn't run, it waited. And Sandra's like, well, that's scary, who do you think it was? And he tells her that the government knows that there are groups of feral people living in U.S. national parks, generations of people living off-grid in the deep woods. He said they're feral, violent, and not quite human anymore, and anytime a hiker or a camper just vanishes without a trace, the official narrative is that they just got lost. He tells her he knows this because he used to work as a federal contract employee that went in when something strange happened on federal land. Disappearances, disturbances, campsites torn apart with no signs of animals. Sometimes his team would find human footprints alongside claw marks, just stuff that didn't make sense. He said they were trained not to ask questions, just to track, document, and clear the area. He said they were instructed to report the location but never engage, and once they even found a cave system rigged with traps. He told her they found snares made from bones, makeshift torches, and writing on the wall in what looked like gibberish with who knows what. And that cave was less than 2 miles from a missing persons report, which was then closed off to the public. And he says the reason that they won't go public with this information is simple: panic. He said if people knew there were whole communities of feral, violent, and human-adjacent people living in national forests, people who don't follow laws, who don't recognize civilization, who don't even speak the way we do, it would cause chaos. Tourism would tank, hunting and fishing licenses would drop, and national parks would become ghost towns. But he said there's no solution. You can't just round them up, because then you'd have to admit that they exist. You can't go in and force them to move out, because that's a human rights violation. He said, assuming they're still human. So instead, Hank said they just don't talk about it. They write off disappearances as accidents, quietly shut down trails where the sightings are too frequent, keep people away with signs that say damage or trail maintenance. He said the reason that people still see them is because there's too many to hide, but not enough to fight. So they just wait quietly and wait for people to wander off the trail. After he tells her that story, he just sits back and finishes beer. He tips her $2 and leaves. She said he never seemed to care to talk about it more, but she never forgot it either. So what do you think? Crazy guy in a bar, or did he know something that most of us don't? If you have a spooky, scary story time, I would love to read it. I try to upload at least one video a day.
That one is kind of crazy because I never heard of that before. I'm today years old when I just learned that. If you knew this, spam it up and tell me more in the comment section. But if you haven't, let me know if you haven't as well. Because I feel like, where have I been? Why didn't I think of this? Why I haven't thought of that? I think when she's saying, what do you think? Is it a crazy guy in a bar, or is it truth? Like, was he really telling the truth? I think sometimes when we do know the craziest stuff, or we do see some of the craziest stuff, when we speak on it, I feel like a lot of the time it's looked at as being crazy. People think you crazy for saying some of the shit that you saw. But it's like, bro, if the eyes could talk, the things that would say, I'm telling you, like, I don't know. I believe them. But then my thing is, if they was to come out and say that, of course, yeah, we would have to deal with panic. The forest would be a ghost town, right? But if the forest becomes the national forest becomes a ghost town, that means they're gonna expand further out. Then we're gonna see them more. So we kind of have to keep it how it. Maybe not have to keep it that way, but I can see why it's that way. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts and opinions on that. But think, if there's nothing around there and they can't ravage campsites or grab a missing person and they got rigged cave systems, like, clearly we may be their food. I mean, come on, think about it. They gotta eat some way, so we may be their food. And then it's like, if we don't go, they're gonna come search. They gotta go look further out the parameter. They gotta expand the parameter. They gotta go checking further out now to go get what they need, or they're gonna starve. Let me know y'all thoughts though. That's a whole nother rabbit hole for me. Let me know if y'all interested, because I'm interested in that topic.
Slept on this movie. The Conspiracy is a movie that I've seen on streaming services for years now, and for some strange reason, I just kept ignoring it. Was bored the other night, couldn't sleep, and around 3 a.m. I finally decided to put this movie on, and I do not regret it at all. The Conspiracy came out in 2012. It's a found footage mockumentary style film. It follows two filmmakers, Aaron and Jim, who are looking for a new documentary to make. The documentary that they decide to make is about conspiracy theories, and the person that they choose as their subject is this guy named Terrence. Now, on the surface, Terrence seems like your typical chronically online Reddit conspiracy theorist. Aaron and Jim both initially don't really take everything he says serious. They're like, he's probably just some crazy guy, but hey, it's interesting enough, we'll hear him out. That was until one day when they were trying to film another segment for the documentary, Terrence went missing. And I'm talking missing without a trace. No friends, no family, no one knows where he is, no last calls, no type of evidence of his last location. He just completely disappeared. Aaron and Jim, both now desperate to finish their documentary, decided to take all of the evidence that Terrence had collected home with them. Then Aaron decides to investigate Terrence's findings a little bit further, and that's when things start to get crazy. Now, Jim Jim, he remains skeptical, but Aaron, he goes full on conspiracy theorist and basically turns into the new Terrence. Now, the conspiracy that Terrence was investigating was about this secret society that pretty much operates like the Illuminati. And when Aaron and Jim took over, their investigation led them all the way into a secret meeting with this secret society. Listen, if you are a part of that early 2010s generation of YouTube where we watch nothing but conspiracy videos all day long, this movie is for you. Now, the horror in this movie is so different because it's not gore or jump scares. It was more so the mystery and the lingering question of, is this all real? That really makes it creepy. And even though the secret society in the movie is fictional, all the events that the secret society is attached to are actual events that happened in this country. So it adds this layer of realism that just makes the whole thing unsettling. If you're into mockumentary movies like Lake Mungo, then The Conspiracy is definitely for you. And like I said, I am so ashamed that I slept on this movie for so long. It's currently streaming on Tubi right now, so please go do yourself a favor and go check this out. If you've seen The Conspiracy, hit me up in the comments and let me know what you thought about it. And if you haven't seen it, trust me, go tap in.
This freaked me.
I want to talk about Project Sunstreak because I thought it was fake until I went on the CIA.gov and found it. And I was like, what am I looking at? On December 5th, 1988, this one man was to find the Ark of the Covenant. And what he saw was bone chilling. And I have the document right here.
Directly from .gov.
This is what he said about the Ark of the Covenant. Target is in a container and is decorated with seraphims. Target is located somewhere in the Middle East as the language spoken by individuals seem to be Arabic. The target is hidden underground. It has something to do with ceremony, memory, and the resurrection.
What?
There is an aspect of spirituality, lessons, and historical knowledge far beyond what we know. The target is protected by entities.
What?
This container cannot be opened until the time is deemed correct. Individuals opening the container by prying or striking are destroyed by the container's protectors through the use of a power unknown to us. That is a CIA document.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard, dude. Entities?
It's protected by entities.
You're saying that this person acquired this knowledge through using one of those, like basically like beaming of a visual?
Psychoenergetics is what it's called. Remote viewing. The ability to describe remote areas, ability to influence physical or biological systems via undefined physical mechanisms.
It's Stranger Things for real.
That's insane.
I hate that. But these were actual programs the CIA was running. It's not like
for years
they learned about it and they're just putting it in there for archive purposes. Like they were doing this. They were the ones running it.
The conspiracy is that the CIA went and apprehended the Ark of the Covenant.
That's a crazy story, dude.
That website, man, they be having some... Y'all been to that website?
You're telling me there's Antarctic human colonies.
Right.
And we've encountered them?
Yep. Buddy, look. Just look at the timeline of our recorded expeditions to Antarctica. It tells you everything. James Weddell, 1824. Charles Wilkes, 1840. Started off as these rational lone expeditions, right? But then all of a sudden we don't go back for nearly 100 years. And when we finally returned, it was with Admiral Byrd's naval expedition known as Operation High Jump. Now tell me, why do you think we would halt expeditions for a century and return with an entire fleet of naval forces if it was just a cold, desolate land with nothing going on? Because this wasn't just another explorative expedition, it was a planned confrontation. Okay, we already knew they were there. We wanted to show up and appear threatening for leverage in a peace treaty. Fast forward, Byrd comes back and, dear God rest his soul, but he passes away no more than about a decade or so later. And if you think that's a coincidence, well, I just don't know what to tell you. Cut to present day. Nobody's allowed down there. Can't even approach the vicinity of the continent. And the Antarctic colony is still thriving as they've been for, God, thousands of years.
What if they controlling them like they controlling us? Or what if it's like Hunger Games and we got what we got going on here and they watching us from there? And similar to like Truman Show. What if it's like that? Or what if they already overthrown everybody over there? And it's a whole lot of what ifs you can come up with. Like, because there's, let's just say, whatever the reason is, there is a reason why they are keeping the public from getting down there. There is a reason. What that reason is, who knows? We all gonna have our own opinions towards this. Let's just look at it like this. We all got our own opinion towards it. But I think we all should be thinking and having our own opinion towards this and a lot of other rabbit holes, because at some point in time, one of us is going to be right. One of us is going to be right. So that's why I said we all just need to stick together, even if we disagree. Because at the end of the day, it's not about if we were right or we were wrong. It's about if the... We gotta look at it from a bird's eye view. We want just the answer. We want to know the truth. Whether we were right on our answer, whether we was wrong on our answer, the truth came out. And it's not about me or you. It's about all of us and generations after us. So that's why we need the truth out, so the generations after us don't have to do the legwork that we are doing. That's just my 2 cents. Let me know y'all thoughts.
How would you like to be my crew? You'll awake with a tummy ache. Into bed you hop and dream away. Lollipop is sweet. Trip to a candy shop where bonbons play. On the sunny beach of Peppermint Bay, lemonade stands everywhere.
For context, this came out in 1934. What exactly was happening here? At first it looks family friendly, but then things seem to take a strange turn. For one instance, she seems to be pulling down her dress a lot. It could be nothing, but if you look into her interviews, things become apparent that there is more than meets the eye. TikTok, this is just for entertainment purposes only.
One guy, when I left Fox, I went to MGM for one picture. Thank goodness, only one. And when I got there with my mother, we were separated. I went into the office of Arthur Freed, and he was going to talk to me about a movie he wanted to put me in. I'm 12 years old, you know. Instead, he was an exhibitor. I'd never seen anyone naked before, except myself, so I had no clue about what was happening. So it struck me so funny, I laughed at him, and he got infuriated. And he said, out, 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 go. So I tell your mother? Well, she came out very quietly from Louis B. Mayer's office, and we walked hand in hand.
I wanted to hear more of it, but I felt uncomfortable with her pulling that dress.
If you got time, watch this.
Is it true that they try to make you sell your soul in the music industry?
They did try to take my friend to Bohemian Grove. They did take him there. So my friend won a very big show that musicians do to get attention and get notoriety.
Like the American Idol or something like that?
Yeah, I won't say which one. He won. After that happened, they were taken out to a type of gathering where all of the big groups of people that are influential to musicians and to entertainment and politics, and they're kind of all intersecting, but they all have their own individual ones. So they all come in to do this meeting. It was a wooded area. There was somebody dressed in an owl type of, it was a female, some type of owl costume. But I don't think it was as cheesy as a costume. I think it's a ritualistic, thing that they do. And you had to either tell the people, I mean, these are influential people who could dead your career or further your career. There was a person there who the public thinks is deceased, who is alive. Some of these people you find in the biggest stories in history, and you have to decide, do I want to be a part of this ritual? And you have a choice. You walk through the door or you don't. It starts out as wanting people to hear your music, but then it turns into a monster. You have to feed it the fame, the love, the attention, the money, the houses, the cars, all the chicks, all the guys, like whatever it is that you're about. Unfortunately, I'll never know what happened because he chose not to. I grew up in LA, so I know these things go on.
That's big facts. But hey, damn all that Bohemian Grove shit right now. I'm telling y'all, I didn't like seeing all those men around that little girl. I didn't like that. How many of y'all like that? And any father out there, if you don't see nothing wrong with that, then let your 12-year-old daughter get passed along all the men like that. You let your daughter do it. And see if you feel some type of way. Because if you feel some type of way at the end of the day, that shit ain't cool. Whether it's your daughter or somebody else's. That's a child. That shit out, bro. I didn't like that. And then she kept pushing her skirt down. I didn't like that. I did not like that. I seen that before. And that shit still hits my nerves. It does. Let me know what y'all thoughts is on that. It's Hollywood.
People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Talking of all you it was a big year for movies. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care. Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very fifth time. and it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Our next presenter starred in Netflix's Bird Box, a movie where people survive by acting like they don't see a thing. Sort of like working for Harvey Weinstein. You did it! I didn't, you did it!
So apparently back in the 1900s, if you asked them, what do you think the world would look like in 100 years, this is something that they came up with. And things like this. In the 1940s, this is what they thought 2011 would look like. But this is important, stay tuned. Now, if you ask people today what they think the world would look like in 100 years, you're probably going to get a majority of the people saying something like this. But imagine if 100 years ago that they imagined that this would be in 100 years. Imagine what the world would be like now. So why are we doing this now? Why do we think that this is going to be the future? Are we manifesting the correct future by believing in these kind of futuristic images? Or can we change it and start manifesting this kind of future in our minds? I would much rather have things like this. So the next time someone thinks about the future or asks you what you think the future is going to look like, don't think this, think this. And imagine how much we can change the future together with just a simple thought.
And I think a lot of it too is, yeah, we're manifesting it. I think, yeah, if we don't watch out, we're going to manifest a lot. Because we all kind of had that thought of either something crazy about to pop off or what's next. It's like that feeling of being unsettled and waiting, that anticipation. And we manifesting shit because we all doing it together without doing it together. Like, we may not be next to each other, but we do it periodically. You know what I mean? And that shit gets strong. That shit gets strong if we doing it, the numbers that we doing it. So I feel like that's a lot of it. But, so I agree with them. And I think a lot of the reason why we seeing it, how we see it now versus how it used to be seen is because I think we waking up and we see what the world really is. We see it for what it really is, and the world's already where it's at with 100, you know, in 100 years of what we said it's going to be. If you really can see the world for what it is, yes, it's like that sometimes. The wickedness, yeah, the world like that sometimes. That's the dark side. But then it's like you got your good and you got your bad. So we also gotta think of it from a deeper perspective, like he said. So we don't manifest it to actually be like that in reality, like physically. You know what I mean? Like the buildings are burnt down. Right now, we just see it on a spiritual aspect. Y'all get what I mean? I hope that makes sense. So y'all let me know. But I agree with him. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts. I know y'all hate this part of the video, but we made it to the end of this. And if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell so you always notified whenever we drop them uploads. Y'all know we coming with about 4 videos every smooth 7. And this is for entertainment purposes as well. And when you like and comment and subscribe to the channel, helps Collective grow, helps Collective get bigger, helps more people who like this type of content tap in with this content. But I appreciate y'all. Yeah, it was a little bit of a longer video. I know y'all like those as well. I'll be trying to work on that as well. So bear with me. Watching on your TV, whatever the case is. I wish you a smooth 7. Until I see y'all in the next one, y'all know what it is. We gone.
I just check my account. Sheesh, at the amount. You probably